Hey, Date with Destiny family, it's Tony again. Listen, I want to reach out to you and just remind you of something so valuable. There was so much we covered in Date with Destiny, but there's a couple of tools that you want to use for the rest of your life. They affect me, they affect anybody I've ever worked with. And the number one I want to mention to you again tonight or today is primary question. Your primary question, remember, whatever you focus on, you feel. And where focus goes, energy flows. And your old primary question is still in your nervous system because you've used it for decades probably. And that question often presupposes something that's not so great. My original question, as you know, was, how can I make it better? Well, if I felt like something was keeping me from making it better, I didn't have enough time, there weren't the resources, somebody screwed up, it would make me absolutely crazy. And to this day, it still does at times. The way I get my sanity is because I'm aware that's my question. I can say, okay, where is the perfection in this moment? Or how can I appreciate even more of God's perfection in this moment? And I'll go, okay, the second way through this thing is going to be even better than the first one. Or the person wasn't able to do that, but that led to something else. It makes me look for what's good. In other words, a new question should help you see what's right. The challenge, of course, is that most of the time our brains are not designed to make us happy. Our brains are designed to protect us. And our primary question is usually the way to protect ourselves. So if we think something's keeping us from making things better, making everyone happy, whatever your primary question might say or be, if you think something's preventing you from meeting your question, meeting the intent of your question, it's going to put you in a lousy state. And when you're most angry, most frustrated, most overwhelmed, I can promise you that question is the challenge. So the secret is, if you catch yourself getting hooked, which I'm sure you will when you get home, there'll be new challenges at some point, catch yourself and say, stop for a second. Why am I feeling this? Is this relating to my primary question? And repeat what it is. And then ask yourself the new question and use that as the antidote to get out of it, especially if you find yourself in a challenge in a relationship. That's an area where it'll get magnified most people right away. Give yourself the gift of doing your new question enough times that it'll start to become the habit instead of the old one. You might want to go on a walk and do an incantation or go on a jog and do an incantation, but I can't stress enough the value of that. One other piece. Every day you want to set yourself up for success. And you got to remember, you can have great standards, great values, but really rituals make those results real. So if you want to lose weight and your ritual is to go to Starbucks every morning, it's not going to happen. If you want to have a great relationship and your ritual is to come home and pet the dog before you meet your spouse or your lover, you got a problem, right? You got to change your rituals. So the emotions you wrote down, those 4 power virtues, whether you wrote down, determination or courage or faith or determination or boldness or playfulness or love or faith or whatever, you want to go into those states each day. And that's not what most people do. Successful people do what the failures won't. So I really want to encourage you, ask your primary question. If you run into a challenge, make sure you come up with a new one, the new question, and ask it again, come up with a solution. But most importantly, each day, attach the words I am to love or passion or determination or courage or faith, and maybe do that for a 5-minute walk where you engage that same intensity as you did when you were in this room, helping people to get to the highest level of their own states. Because if you go in those emotional states on a daily basis and you deliberately put yourself in those states physically, and most people don't do that, but if you really do that, it's going to change the story of your life. Remember what the old story was you said your life was? What was the old story? What was the role you were playing? What were you battling with? What emotions were you feeling? And then what's the new story today? What's the story you're now writing, starting now, the new chapter you're writing? Who are you? What's the story going to be about? What are you going to feel? What are you going to create? So I'm just bringing you back to remind you of what you know in your heart. We've covered a lot. Use that primary question to snap out of it, your new one to snap out of the old one. Put yourself in these states each day, and from these states, take an action that'll make a difference. If you don't already do it, it might be good for you to start doing that hour of power, or it doesn't have to be an hour, it's 15 minutes of fulfillment, and start to get yourself in the ritual of 5 minutes of gratitude, and then 5 minutes of focused on what you want, 5 minutes of incantations, and then going down some good work. A minute or 2 for somebody you care about or a stranger, a minute or 2 of action towards your biggest and most important goal. That's just a little reminder for you. Saying hello from Date with Destiny, letting you know we're thinking about, we care about you, and we're in your corner always. Live strong, live with passion, and God bless.